why smartphones aren't getting better. People, what up? What's good, man? It's your boy TwoCentz. We got an interesting topic here from Levi Hildebrand's channel. Y'all, it's funny. This video just came out 6 months ago at the time I'm recording, right? And I literally just got a new phone, man. I got the iPhone 16e right here. This is my iPhone 11 I've been had for the longest. But before we even get into it, man, I feel like smartphones in general aren't really improving. And by the way, y'all, I didn't buy the phone. It was given to me. So don't come for me, man, for wasting money, bro. It was given to me. But I feel like smartphones aren't really getting any better, because it's like, you know, what more do we really want our phone to do, bro? Like, do I want to turn this into Sword Art Online or Ready Player One and dive into the phone? And like what more do we really want them to do? Like, people just want to flex that they got a new phone and just buy the new one every year or so. But let's see what Levi talking about, man. Let's hope he can break it down for us.
Longer battery life, a super bright display, and speeds like we have never seen before because of this latest chip technology. But I've recorded this weeks before the iPhone 17 was even launched. So basically what I've said is a complete projection based on what I think is going to happen, and it's a pretty safe bet because this is basically what Apple has been saying every single time they've launched a phone for the last like 8 years. Apple's incremental improvements are
man, more battery life, cooler screen, you know, another camera. Like, okay, bro, like what else? You know, like a new user interface, even though the old one worked perfectly fine. Like, you know, let's hear about it though.
Always presented as game-changing or revolutionary, when the average iPhone user would scarcely even notice the difference day to day. And yet the prices for this newest release are expected to be the highest we've ever seen. And somehow, still, a disturbing percentage of people in the US are replacing their smartphones every single year. But Apple's not the only one trying to trick you into buying a new phone. We've also seen a new wave of foldable and flippable devices that are going viral online. This is supposed to be the next big thing, and even the thing that may get people to switch away from Apple. So with yet another round of super smartphones being unveiled, let's get real about what is actually going on here.
Nice intro, man. Did we like the video, y'all? Hold on. Y'all know we gotta like the video. Y'all go ahead and like this video as well, man, and go to his and like his too.
A huge thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring today's video.
This place is so freaking weird. There's like an Apple smell in the Apple store that I can't describe. I don't know. It's not new car, but you know it. You know the smell when you walk into an Apple store. God, that's so weird.
We're taking a gamble here, and we're gonna look super dumb if this happens to be the year that Apple releases a game-changing technology. So consider this entire video our prediction for that launch, and maybe the biggest roast of all time in the comment section if we get it wrong. Oh, and speaking of roasting, does that look better? We had a lot of people very concerned about the mattress on the floor situation going on back here. Don't worry, I'm fine. It's just we've recently moved, so this room is the last one to get set up. We're working on it. So yes, we have taken the gamble, the fairly low stakes Bet365 parlay, put all our money on black, and said publicly on the internet here in this video that this year's iPhone is going to be a marginal improvement on last year's model, with a higher price tag and a launch that includes the words "your new superpower" or "Newphoria" or some dumb shit like that. No, this year will almost certainly be the same for Apple, but we are also seeing a new wave of folding and flipping smartphones that are very, very cool and that are maybe, in some cases, getting people to actually switch away from Apple. The Z Flip from Samsung and the Motorola Razr are the flagship phones.
Do y'all really want to flip your phone though? Like, I mean, I know we had the flip phones like before we had these, like the flip phones were like before the touchscreen, but like, you know, I feel like it don't matter, bro. Like, I don't know, like, as long as you can call your people and I don't know, watch videos or use apps, I feel like you straight, bro. Like, you know, I don't need all this extra, right? I'm saying that with with a new phone right here, right?
sort of pioneering this new chapter of smartphone tech. And while it may be very hype, this is just old playbook from what we have been seeing from these tech giants for years. We're gonna get into that later, but first I wanna talk about my old iPhone. Well, this is the case for my iPhone. This is my iPhone. So this is my iPhone 15 Pro Max. I've been using this thing for a couple of years now, and I use it all the time, including as a teleprompter screen for recording these videos. So I bought this phone last year, refurbished when the iPhone 16 had already been out for a little while, and I made a whole video about that on my Instagram account to explain why. If you don't follow me on Instagram, maybe you should consider doing that. Very different content, but still very fun, still very me. Now, my previous phone before this was an iPhone 11 Pro Max, and look, I'm a content creator. I use my phone all the time for filming stuff, for sharing videos, for screen recordings, and using this as a teleprompter screen. I mean, I use the hell out of my phones, right. And yet somehow I'm replacing my phone half as often as the average American. But look, I'm not just saying this to feel morally superior to everyone. I did it because if you think about it, buying a new smartphone is kind of dumb. And listen, you probably already kind of understand what I'm saying, right? Like, as I said off the top, people intuitively understand today that the latest tech is not going to be miles beyond what it was in years previously. And you know who will tell you this in the simplest terms? Apple themselves. So if you go onto the Apple web,
just do like a little specs comparison or whatever. So yeah, I feel like it just must be people just want to, you know, feel included and involved and flex. Like, that's the main thing about getting a new phone every year. Like I said, bro, I had this phone for damn near 5 years, man. Like, it still works fine. Like, so yeah, I feel like that's all it is, bro. But you know, it's not even just, you know, that's limited to phones. Like, people buy the same sports video game every year, whether it be 2K, you know, FIFA, whatever, Madden. You know, we get the you know, shoes released every few years, and we get the same pair of shoes. Like, we just like spending bread as a society, right?
Site. They have this handy dandy feature where you can actually compare the different models of iPhones side by side. And it's actually very illuminating. So what I did for this phone that I'm using right now is I went onto their website and I compared the iPhone 15 Pro Max to the iPhone 16 Pro Max to see if it was worth the upgrade. As you can see here, the 16 is 0.2 inches bigger. It has the A18 chip instead of the A17 chip. It has a new camera control button, which is sort of like the flagship feature of this generation. We're gonna talk about that later too. But if you scroll through this list of features, once again, this is on the Apple website, it's fairly plain to see that there isn't a whole lot of difference between these two phones. Slightly better battery life, slightly faster wireless charging speeds, but honestly, other than that, it's really about the same. But hold on, because it actually gets better. You can compare it to a third generation, and now you can see that the iPhone 14 Pro Max is almost the same as the 15 Pro Max, with the only major difference being that it doesn't have Apple Intelligence, which may actually even be a selling feature at this point. In fact, you have to go back to the 13 Pro Max to get a significant camera change and to lose the USB-C connector. Now, if there really is no difference between the various generations of iPhone, the average rational thinking person would just stop upgrading them or move out of the Apple ecosystem to some other product. However, that ecosystem traps people like myself within this Apple world, whether they like it or not. But before we get into that, I want to talk about the sponsor of today's video. We got a Surfshark.
Shout out to Surfshark, man. We definitely gonna tap in with the code. You know, get that VPN set up, right?
Subscription, and if you out feet for
use code Hildebrand, I'm definitely gonna do that. Definitely gonna check it out.
Basically, everybody who tries. Plus, I remember it wasn't available because it's available on malicious webshark.com of Surfshark. Apple has unleashed a bunch of different tactics to try and get you to upgrade phones, even when there's not that much improvement year over year. But even when the innovations aren't so insignificant, like these foldable phones that we're seeing today, there is a similar playbook being used to manipulate you into buying a new phone that you do not need. We talked about planned obsolescence in a whole other video that we released last year, so I'm not going to repeat myself. But if you don't know what it is, then you must be new to this channel. Thanks for stopping in. Consider subscribing. So you might have known about the scandal back in 2017, where Apple admitted to slowing down their old iPhones, basically with the plan of getting people to buy new ones. This planned obsolescence is a physical degradation of the product over time to get consumers to buy new phones. But that's not the only thing that's going on here. Cultural or psychological obsolescence is the social aspect surrounding what we do and do not buy. And these new flip phones are a textbook example. See, here's the difference. iPhone—
It's really interesting, man. And obviously y'all know, y'all can clearly tell I'm not like tapped in with all the newest, the latest, the greatest tech. But I just feel like you know, and obviously, so my feed might be different, but like in my experience, bro, like nobody's tripping on what phone you have anymore, right? Whether that be Android or iPhone or, you know, whatever other brand, Google, you know, like I feel like don't nobody really care no more. But maybe again, like, you know, it's so many different feeds on the internet. Maybe after I watch this video, I'm gonna start getting those type of ads, right? Because I know they listening to me.
Only really needs to have one prominent feature to distinguish the new model from the old model, because Apple users are notoriously loyal whether they want to be or not. Take the camera button on the latest iPhone 16. This thing is kind of dumb, really, because you can already preset the action button from last year's generation to do what this camera button does without making a whole button about it. But that's not why they made it. This is a subtle visual cue to the rest of the world that you got the new
catch
iPhone.
up, right?
Other smartphone brands have to do something way more obvious and impressive to get people to buy because there is more competition amongst Android users. This is why Androids are always the first ones to come up with the newest tech features. And while foldable phones have been around for a little while, up until now, they've kind of always sucked. But this year, I think we're at a tipping point where foldable and flippable phones are gaining popularity, and they're actually starting to set a new standard. Phones like the Motorola Razr Plus and the Z Flip from Samsung are some of the few iPhones today that are offering people a truly new smartphone experience. Up until now, they've been really, really expensive, and they were really prone to technical problems that basically made them useless after a couple of years. But this is the gamble that Samsung is making. They've invested a lot of money and a lot of time. A huge risk was taken on this technology to take it from nothing to where it is now. And if it becomes the next big thing, they're going to have a huge cash out because they are basically one of the biggest shareholders in the market right now. And there's so much hype and so much excitement for this because we haven't really seen a new visual experience to the smartphone landscape in a long time. And there's a lot of people talking about how this made them switch from Apple, right? But before you go—
But again, let me hear him say, but before you go.
Dropping $2,000 on a folding phone.
Okay, no, that's not what I was gonna say. But like we literally had flip phones before. Like, sure that, like I said, they're not touchscreen flip phones, but we already had that. So it's not even new. I guess we just brainwashed on a grand scale, bro. It's tough.
We have seen this before. Do you remember the home button? Before Retina cameras and the whole swipe up experience, we were using our thumbprints to open our phones like we were in the Stone Ages. Just like folding phones, this tech was pioneered and trialed by various Android devices for years before iPhone adopted the technology, and the hype for it was massive. But here's the thing about these phones that is not nearly talked about enough. It actually kind of makes using your phone less convenient in a lot of ways. Like when we hit the milestone of facial recognition, the hype was so real and the feeling that was like this is the next big thing. But it's actually not that significant of a change. Instead of using Touch ID, you're using Face ID. And if I'm being honest, Touch ID was actually more convenient a lot of the time. And these flip phones are very similar. You're just opening your phone in a different way. The only difference between a flip phone and a standard phone is that now you have another step to opening your phone. You can see in the way that they've designed it that they're actually trying to work around this problem. Like the Razr has made the camera and the screen on the outside of the phone fully functional as a mini phone so that you don't have to open your phone to use it, which seems kind of redundant to me. But honestly, that doesn't matter. If they can make it look cool enough and work well enough, it will sell thousands and thousands of devices because of this perceived leap. Now, this could be the year that Apple launches a foldable phone, but I don't think it will be. Apple likes to wait until something is totally accepted and battle tested before they roll it out themselves. But holy shit, would it be dumb if we wrote this whole thing, published this video, and then they actually did it. So today, on one hand, we have possibly the smartest and most engaging smartphones ever made, retailing for the...
They might do it, right? And I don't know if I can 100% agree with what he's saying about, like, you know, they don't announce something unless it's totally accepted. Because I don't know if y'all remember, bro, that like VR headset that came out a couple of years ago. Like everybody thought that it was pretty sick for like 2 days, but then nobody got it. Right, so I feel like, and that's the only I guess example from Apple that I can pull from. But you know, I feel like they have taken a risk, and that's an example of it. It didn't work out, so maybe they gonna stay away from the risk. But we gonna see.
Highest prices smartphones have ever seen. And then we have this supposed trend of people going old school. The basis of the dumb phone trend is that people are starting to recognize the addictive and intrusive ways that smartphones have been taking over our lives. And so people are trying to take back some control, in many cases by going to old phones. Videos about people switching away from smartphones to flip phones are not uncommon online today. You can see them all over the place. You search up no phone summer on TikTok and you'll be served a whole...
How did they make this video? No phone summer? How did you record this? Come on, man.
Fleet of videos of people showing off their old digital gadgets that they're using to try and use their phone less. Basically, anything that allows you to interact with media without needing to use your smartphone to do it. And a bunch of these will also feature an older Nokia or flip phone of some kind. And I don't know how many people are actually doing this in the real world, to be honest, because it feels like one of those things that makes for a really good video, but maybe is just impractical for the average person.
Right.
But nonetheless, companies have seen the rising demand for people who want to disconnect from the internet and reconnect to the world around them. And so there's a new product category to capitalize on it: the dumb phone. So these dumb phones, and there's a bunch of them out there, but basically they offer you limited functionality of the traditional smartphone in order to help you live a more real-world connected life. Matt Diavella made a video about switching to one of these things 2 years ago, and I watched it when it came out, and spoiler alert, he doesn't end up sticking with it past the 30-day test. As he talks about in that video, there's just so much of our daily life that's ingrained into the devices that we carry in our pockets every day. Now, there's a bunch of options out there within like the $300 to $400 range, but the most famous one in the dumb phone category, I guess we'll call it, is the light phone. And those things are
$700 to be able to do nothing on your phone. Yeah, man, people just want to look a certain way, man. They, you know, I got a cool vibe, man. I got a dumb phone. I got a light phone, man. What you know about me? I'm mysterious. I'm cool. I'm minimalist. Yeah, man, that's all it is, bro.
Like $800. And as a lot of the reviewers online have said, and a lot of the comments on those videos also say, it's a lot of money for not a lot of phone. The truth is, you can try a flip phone or a dumb phone your way out of our dopamine-driven, hyper-speed, tech-fueled society, but you're ultimately just going to be left out. And you could say, well, that's fine, dude, this shit sucks. But it's not just your Pinterest page or, you know, your news feed or whatever that you're missing out on, but the very real convenience that these smartphones provide us with today. And I think the thing is, we've kind of forgotten how much these phones have changed our lives. Like, just the apps alone are enough to make you switch back to a smartphone. WhatsApp or Facebook replace phone calls. Every restaurant menu has a QR code. Parking spots, Ubers, car shares,
YouTube. Come on, man.
PayPal, Venmo, and the directions to get to all of those things are all done through an app. The question is really to smartphone or not to smartphone. And today, it's almost impossible to live without one. So which one will you choose? And some of the biggest companies in the world are creating the most hype and most exciting products that we have ever seen to make you choose them. So, I mean, unless you can somehow live a smartphone-free life, which is going to be harder, and less convenient, and more annoying, and maybe even less socially rich, you're probably going to end up buying a smartphone. And so the real question is, what smartphone are you going to buy? Because it's overwhelming. Like, if you look at the foldable and flippable phones today, it is super stimulating. It is all about enhancing your online experience and your productivity and integrating your life into this device as much as possible. They're really focusing on that human-tech relationship. And at the same time, it's kind of like an homage to the past. Like my first phone was a flip phone. The LG Chocolate and those other kind of weird phones of my generation seem like what these new phones are based on. And is that a mistake? Definitely not. They're using the same sort of nostalgic trend repetition thing that we've seen in the fashion world forever, and it's working. Now, I don't want to say that, like, you know, it's either flip phones and paper maps or smartphones and nothing in between. In fact, kind of the opposite. I think the best thing that you can do for your wallet and for your mental well-being probably is to hold on to whatever smartphone you have right now as long as possible.
Facts. And yeah, man, and like I said, bro, unless I can physically dive into my screen and move around and then come out, I'm straight on falling for the hype. I'm good, bro. Y'all, you know what I mean? I'm cool with the phone I got until, you know, I can grab a viewer. That's a camera, but y'all know what I'm saying, bro.
Because the reality is, once smartphones had cameras and music and access to the internet, there really hasn't been any advancements that will truly change your life that much. Foldable screens aren't going to make your life that much better. And they're probably going to be boring and normal in like 3 years, and you can get one then for half the price. Because the truth is, it's not about making something that helps make your life better. It's about making a product that is so engaging, so enthralling and colorful and beautiful and amazing that you go out of your way to buy one right now and you never put it down. They want you to be on your phone as much as physically possible. And we talked about this a bit in our hobbies video, which we released last month, but tech is increasingly being inserted into literally every aspect of our lives nowadays. It sort of makes sense as a productivity tool and a work tool, I guess, but today, tech is trying to improve our recreational time. Strava for running and cycling, Goodreads, and others for hobbies and stuff like that. And the increased pressure to post everything online is just everywhere with these new devices. And it's probably only going to get more invasive. Did you guys see the video of Tim Cook giving Donald Trump the solid gold plaque thing? I guess this was like an announcement of some sort to say that Apple,
that's kind of hard though, I ain't even gonna lie,
is investing a bunch of money in the USA. But
trophy.
What it truly means in the subtext here is that Apple is playing by Trump's rules now. And that means that there's probably very little standing in the way of the most exploitative business practices that they can deploy in the future.
You know, the thing is, bro, I feel like, you know, we always bring this up, but I don't nobody care, bro. We getting scam calls every single day, all day. How? Somebody sold your data. You know, our data getting sold. They could hear what I'm saying right now. Like, I don't think we even care about the privacy, man. Unfortunately, whether that's a good or bad thing, but man, we got one more minute. Let me stop yapping, bro. I'm sorry.
So I can't get over the fact that, like, one of the richest CEOs in the world doesn't know how to use a microphone.
This box was made in the U.S., California, and this glass comes off before you.
Like, he's doing like a delivery of the plaque in front of, like, it's televised, and he's standing like 5 feet away from the mic. It's like, dude, aren't you media trained?
Wow.
Tim Cook, you've been in this game for such a long time. You don't know where the fucking microphone is? Come on, dude. Anyways, look, I'm not saying that you shouldn't get a new iPhone if you need it, but we need to stop buying the newest thing just because it exists. It's that kind of mindless consumerism that are keeping these massive companies profitable year over year. And if you just hold on to the phone you currently have, you might actually make more of a difference than anything else. A huge.
Well said, man. Well said, Levi, bro. And that's the thing, man. You know, smartphones aren't getting any better because we don't care about them actually getting better. We just, you know what I'm saying, we want to look good, we want to look cool. And, you know, I wonder if that'll change, right? Like we talk about fast food over here, man. People are starting to stop buying fast food because it's getting too expensive and it's not worth it, right? Phones are getting more expensive. Maybe one day we're going to learn that they're not worth it. But, man, let me go ahead and subscribe to Levi, bro. You got some interesting stuff going on. Hope y'all enjoyed. As always, it's your boy 2Centz. Say it with me. TCZ. We out.